Everyone, welcome to the Lighthouse Sessions. I am very excited. I have my new friend Howard Fox with me. I first of all want to shout out to Emmanuel Rose for recognizing that Howard and I might have a thing or two in common. So, love you, Emmanuel. Thank you. Howard, tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do, and why you love Boulder City so much.
Excellent. Well, Jeff, thank you for inviting me to the show. And I'm as big a Emmanuel Rose fan as you are. I think he's going to be here in Nevada, Las Vegas area, first part of August. So I look forward to having a cocktail or breaking bread with him then. So I am actually, and I like to share, I'm a recovering IT business consultant. And I was in a beautiful place. You're from Canada, so I know you've probably heard of Victoria, British Columbia. Very beautiful. And I was out there on a project and I was absolutely miserable. I was working for a consulting company then we were partnered with a consulting company. The firm I was with was okay, but the people in the consulting company were absolutely horrendous. And as was the client as well, very passive aggressive. And I just thought, there's no way I can live the rest of my life working on projects like this. And I decided to go back to school. And I literally quit my job and went back to my previous employer. They ended up paying for graduate school, as part of the benefit. And so I worked in the IT consulting space for quite a while. Eventually, I got laid off in 2012. I had transitioned from consulting to overhead in the HR space. And the one thing I learned is you never want to be overhead in a downturn economy. So I actually went back to school when the economy tanked in 2008. Went to grad school, got my master's in leadership, and went through a coach training program, which was the elective part of my training. And in 2012, when I eventually got laid off, I decided I am not going back working as a full-time employee anywhere. I'm going to start my own coaching practice. It's been tough, and it's been a challenge. Eventually, I landed with a very large consulting company that has a global footprint, but we provide career transition coaching, which is helping people navigate job loss and everything from getting clarity about their job, helping with LinkedIn, resumes, how to network, which you and I are going to chat about shortly, and even how to network on LinkedIn. Use that as a tool if we don't. I work with a lot of IT folks, and like like me, perhaps getting out and going to an event is taxing. You're tired, you're exhausted. I just want to go home and just veg and go to sleep. But learning how to network. I also provide career mobility, so if people want to change jobs inside a company. And then also I do executive coaching as well. So I have a kind of a three-legged stool for my coaching practice. And then I started podcasting with Success Insight podcast back in 2019. I had a radio show. I wrote a book. I did Facebook Live interviews. I wrote a book from my interviews, and I decided I like this interview stuff, the book part not so much. And I decided, why don't I just start a podcast? And I had a client that was looking to write articles for LinkedIn at the time. And I said, why don't I interview you? I'll publish your episode as a podcast. And then my partner at the time, he would then take the recording, which was very laborious at the time back in 2019 versus today. He would then write, 500, 750 word article. Long story short, I moved out to Las Vegas in 2020 and wanted to get out to the outdoor space and go car camping, dark sky photography. And then I met the folks from the Outdoor Writers Association of America. I joined them, started to get guests who were in the outdoor space, photographers, journalists, video folks. And then then I decided this is a cool little niche that I have. And so I started the Outdoor Adventure Series podcast. So literally on my background, you see all three of my logos. But most of my time these days is split between coaching, which is about a 24-hour-a-week job, to podcasting. And then, I host my own podcast. I help others start their podcasts. I co-host podcasts. And then my niche these days, Jeff, is I work with chambers of commerce, and I work with what we call destination marketing organizations. So whatever city you live in, there's probably a chamber, economic development, and there's also maybe separate or rolled up in it a destination organization like Visit Springfield or Visit Chicago. And so I work really a lot with those chambers and with the destination. So that is me in a pretty good nutshell, 5 minutes or less.
I love it. By the way, tell me you're a visionary entrepreneur without admitting you are. The fact that you have 3 logos, you're one of us. I guarantee. Now I'm going to just share something. I think it's Carson City. I'm addicted to their LinkedIn feed, and whenever Jeff needs a vacation from whatever I'm doing, I take a 5-minute break and I watch some of their videos and their look at their pictures. And I'm like, I'm sorry, Nevada. I've spent my whole life thinking you're nothing but neon and noise, and I'm like, there's a lot of beauty outside of the neon. And I find it fascinating, like the you bringing up dark sky photography. I'm like, in Nevada? And I'm like, okay, wait, in Nevada, yes. In Vegas, probably no.
It actually, if you've got the lights of Vegas behind you, so you go out to parts of Lake Mead, you go into the ghost town area of Nelson, which is actually literally 10 miles from where I live in Boulder City. Boulder City, by the way, is applied to be a dark sky community. And so what they did is they got grant money to basically retrofit all the street lights. So problem with communities that are with the light pollution, the lights are the effectiveness of the lights is lost because it's going up. What they do is you have these bulbs in the whatever the container is on the light points down. And so, you're you're an hour and a half from Valley of Fire. You're 2.5 hours from Pahranagat. You've got Lincoln County and Caliente and this great state parks up there, Cathedral Gorge, wonderful dark sky areas. Besides hiking and biking and all that good stuff. It's just incredibly hot.
Tourism, by the way, that's when Emmanuel's like, oh, you should come visit, but I'm about to leave for a month because I can't stand the heat. I'm like, I'll come see you maybe in September or October. I love it. Well, we could be an episode of Tourism Boulder City. Apparently, we could nerd out because I've got a young son that is obsessed with space and the sky. And, whenever there's a solar sky event, we're out there with our telescopes. And it's annoying when you get it all set up and then the lights from nearby come on or something. And you're like, oh well.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, you mentioned the feed up in Carson City. Do a Google search of RAM, Boulder City, and there's Hemingway Park. Literally, that is like 5 minutes away. The rams come down from the mountain twice a day to feed on the grass, and so they have a live feed of the ram with the ram cam in the park area. It's pretty cool.
I love that. And for what it's worth, you reminded me, I used to have a live feed. It was on the main street in Bermuda, and I loved it because you could look right out and you could watch the ships come and go in the harbor. Mm-hmm. And it turns out I think that link was on my last computer, and now I like to get away without actually leaving my house, but it's more to plan where I want to go eventually. So
yeah, sure. Love it.
I have a friend in Maui. I make her go outside and turn her camera around so I can see the beach.
I love it.
Well, let's talk about networking. And Howard doesn't know the weirdness he's about to step into. Howard, I actually built a LinkedIn networking game, and the rules are you make up your own rules. But basically, I had this weird aha, and I actually teach it to young job hunters. And I'll find the video I did and I'll share it with you. But the aha moment was I'm an introvert. I do not want to go. I know people that go to every networking event they can. Sorry, but that's pure hell because, as you said, it's taxing. I'd rather have a stake driven into my brain than go to regular events. Mm-hmm. But I love, as an introvert, we do have an advantage. We do really well in small groups, and we do amazingly well on one-to-one like this. So one of the things I'm teaching, I have 2 teenage boys. I'm going to teach them the life skills I believe they need. And it's not how to format their resume. It's how to network and connect with the right people. Mm-hmm. And the big aha, as I was creating this game, it was a game I created with a bunch of my networking friends. You're in with a bunch of networking nerds when everybody's got communities and groups and whatever. And we were all fascinated. And what we recognized was that people don't know the rules, so they show up hoping to learn from the people around them who are equally clueless. So let's talk about what networking means to you and what kind of advice you're giving the people you work with.
Sure. Well, everybody has their strength in when it comes to meeting people. Some people are deathly afraid of it. Some people are, because of their personality, they're all in. It's like a game. Yep. If I was coaching clients, I would want to understand what is it if networking is a challenge. What is it about networking that is a challenge for you? And then we start to peel back the onion about what is your area of expertise? What magazines, what TED Talks, what YouTube videos are you watching? What subscriptions and groups, say on LinkedIn, and just listen to those read the conversation or listen to the video. The networking could be just a baby step. Comment on that particular video or that particular article. I teach them how to tag, the individual who wrote the article or the video or produced the video, teach them about the hashtags as well. And so gradually start a conversation, get to know the person whose work you're an expert in. And I think if we struggle with networking, being around other people who do a lot of the work that we're interested in is an easier lift than going into a room and everybody's passing out their business cards. And they still do that, by the way. And they do have the electronic business cards. But yeah. I mean, so I think, like, for example, the podcasting, yes, you're an introvert, but, interview somebody, start a podcast, interview somebody that's doing work exactly in an area that you're interested in and have a casual conversation. Because as I like to share, my podcast is like having an adult beverage with a friend you haven't seen in 15 years. Right? Very conversational. And so you start off small to build that networking muscle. But look for areas where you already have some expertise. Perhaps you know who some of the players are, and then follow what they're doing, and look for an opportunity to tell somebody why you liked what they wrote. And maybe, hey, I love what you wrote. What do you think about this? So give them an opportunity to kind of reply back to you. And if you keep building that muscle, eventually I find you get more comfortable with it and you go, something, this is not so bad.
I love that. And for what it's worth, I'm making my boys, we have a book club. They don't even know it. They haven't read the book yet. But they're going to read The Go-Giver before they leave home. And one of the things I tell people is, yes, I get it. You're on LinkedIn because you want to find a job. And the more other people you help, the more people are out there willing to help you. So it's giving to not to receive, but to build that community, right?
Yeah, and it's building not just an acquaintance, but allies and advocates. And it's with in our careers today, networking and our own professional development are two activities that are going to be around for us for the rest of our lives. Because if you don't network, if you don't continually look for professional development opportunities in whatever shape, size, or flavor that is, you're going to find that you're going to be quickly behind the curve and catching up. And
Yeah.
I coach a lot of folks. They work for the same company for many years, and now they've gotten laid off. And it's like, now where do I go? And so when
Yeah.
you're young, ongoing professional development and creating and nurturing your network.
I love that. And I think, I was probably in my 40s before I went, I've done a lot of networking. I've built a lot of relationships. But one of the mistakes I made was every job I would build a new network. And then when I moved to the next one, I would start over. And now it's like, start building your network in your 20s. And one of my pieces of advice is have your own CRM, whatever that is, whether it's a spreadsheet, a stack of business cards, I don't care. But those relationships, the longer you age them, the more valuable they are for everybody.
Sure. And, just because you connect with somebody, that's why I like LinkedIn. And just because you connect with somebody doesn't mean you're one and done. You have to continually go out periodically, some cadence that works for you, and nurture that network. Plant a seed, acknowledge somebody, whether it's, the birthdays, the anniversaries, the job changes. If they shared something and you found interesting, take that 15 seconds to acknowledge what they did so you stay top of mind. And because you don't, if it would, God forbid, something happens career-wise, you don't want to have to reach out to a network you haven't nurtured for the last 10 years.
Yeah. And you and I both have a bias because this is what we do, but I believe everyone who wants to do anything meaningful should have a podcast. Because if you think about it, and I'm trying to convince my kids to start one, and they're too young yet, but if they start out and they're asking the questions that somebody new has, they're going to meet the senior people who can lift them up. And as they rise, they're going to guide others behind them. And to me, it's just a fascinating way to add value to everybody.
Yeah. And I think that's like you and I met, via Emmanuel. And if you see something that's interesting, a friend of mine is a very accomplished journalist. She was caught up in the downward cycle of print and TV journalism, and now she has a career as an outdoor adventure seeker. I won't say exactly what they do, but they posted a video on their LinkedIn page, and there was a piece of equipment that was the focus of what they were sharing. And I reached out and I said, I would love to chat with the person about that, because it had to do with coffee. I love coffee, and nothing is better for me than when I'm outdoors in a beautiful place enjoying a great cup of coffee. And so my friend, because I know them very well, said, I'll make the introduction for you. And the podcasting is just a great way, writing a Substack. If you've got a point of view, start a Medium account, start a Substack account. I probably wouldn't waste my time on a LinkedIn article because LinkedIn then wants you to pay for it, increase your subscription. But, $20 a month here, I don't know what it is in Canada, Substack or a Medium. Talk about your point of view. Talk about things you're interested in, because eventually you're going to gather a global audience. So
it is a fascinating thing. Now, I could talk to you all day, and we will have a repeat episode, I guarantee. So shout out to Emmanuel, Boulder City. Howard, I want to thank you for taking your time and hanging out with me. How can people connect with you and learn what you do?
Oh, I love it. Well, first off, I thank you for the time, and Emmanuel, thank you, buddy. My website is foxcoaching.com. My podcast is the Outdoor Adventure Series.com. And I'm also on LinkedIn, and just search for Howard Fox or Fox Coaching Inc. And then you will find my my LinkedIn profile. So LinkedIn's probably the best way, but if you want to see my work, Outdoor Adventure Series or my website. So,
Awesome.
thank you.
Well, thank you.